Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Appreciate the EXP agents that are joining us today. My name is Wilson Solomon with Lofty. I also have Jason here as well. He is one of our senior onboarding specialists and just a wealth of product knowledge, subject matter expert, if you will. Appreciate you, Jason, for jumping on with me today. We're going to be connecting with these EXP agents and going through just some more of the, just kind of the basic CRM dashboard, kind of kickstarting your experience within Lofty. Some of these agents, not a lot of them, are new to the platform, so we are excited to be able to show you some things. Jason's got again a wealth of knowledge, so definitely encourage you to pay attention as much as he's covering here today. We'll have the chat open as well in EXP World, so if questions roll in, please let me know, and we will or just post those in the chat, and we'll get those answers. Some of them I'll just respond to directly in the chat. Some of them, depending on how things are going, and leaning on Jason for some of his knowledge, we can bring some of those up with some pause. Jason, what I'll do to make that easier, if we do have some questions that kind of roll in, I don't want to interrupt your flow, so I'll turn off my camera. And then if there's kind of a break in your presentation, I'll maybe pop my camera back on, just to kind of give you a cue that maybe there's some questions we want to kind of address verbally, if that's okay.
Sure. I may just pause from time to time, just make sure that we get those questions answered.
That's perfect. Thanks so much, Jason.
Everybody, hi. How you doing? Welcome. This is my first time doing this, so please bear with me. Not the first time I've made this presentation. I know this product intimately. It's just the first time on this platform. It's a little new to me. I'm sharing my screen, and this is Lofty CRM Kickstart. This is the very first presentation you should review. I am assuming that all of you are new with Lofty, and in a sense, your dashboard is actually being covered up by this temporary overlay. This temporary overlay has 5 panels to it: profile setup, website setup, communication, user management, database. We want you to go through and get as much of these completed as possible. Your system might be a little bit different, because it might be a little bit different for agents versus brokers. I'm using a broker platform. I'm sorry, I don't have anything else. Definitely what you want to do, though, is to get at least 50% of your website setups established. At that point, you can jump over and explore the actual Lofty dashboard at that point, which I'm going to do. Again, this is a temporary overlay. Get as many of these tasks done as possible, as soon as possible. It's essential to your success with Lofty. All right, I'm going to come up to the top right. When I hit Explore Lofty, we're going to open up our dashboard. This dashboard is a toggling dashboard. It has some great information, but our focus today is to go through the settings and review those. When I click on settings, there may be 2 different levels. If you are a company owner, you will have access to company settings as well. Most of you probably will just have personal settings. That's what I'm going to assume at this moment. So we're going to cover the personal settings and the things that you need to get accomplished. All right. All right. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure your profile information is correct. Please check the spelling of your name. I know that sounds strange, but you'd be surprised. This email address is the email address you will communicate through to the team, the EXP Lofty team. It doesn't mean that this email is actually shared or transparent to your clients. It very well may, but that will be your choice. Please check your phone number. Make sure your time zone is set correctly. This is very important for your activities in the people's page to make sure that they're accurate timestamps. Last but not least, our working hours default to a 24-hour period. This 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now, this isn't when we at Lofty expect you to be in the office. AXP might, I don't know. But this is when we will send alerts out to you, or we may send out automatic emails on your behalf. Keep in mind, somebody might come to your website. It may be 2 o'clock in the morning because they suffer insomnia. They sign up for the website, they register. 10 minutes later, 2:35, you might send out an email. I personally don't think that's an issue, but if you don't want email sends or alerts to go out after your office close, just go ahead and put a close hour there. Okay. Anything that comes in or should be sent out after that, we'll just post the next morning. And I'm going to pause here if there's any questions.
I
Nope.
don't have any just yet, Jason. There's some comments in the EXP world around just the size of the screen, so I'm just trying to let people know they can expand that within EXP world, or they can use the YouTube stream that we're running as well,
Okay.
just to kind of open it up and make it a little bit bigger. So,
All right, great. Next down, you want to click into account and security. Again, this email is how Lofty EXP will communicate with you. It's not necessarily shown to your users, your clients, unless you choose it to be. This is where you can reset your password. By the way, let me get back to this email. You can change this if you choose to do so. If you do change this, please keep in mind that this is your username. So if you change this email, your username will change as well. On this page, you can update your password or change your password. Please do often for security purposes. You can also set up two-factor authentication here as well. Notifications. This is an important, integral part of our Lofty product. We want to make sure that you're aware of things that are going on. Some of these may feel a little overwhelming or annoying from time to time. If that's the case, like this daily insight, maybe these are things you're doing already. You can just shut these off if you find that they're not necessary and hitting your inbox. But we do have two different pages here. We have our general alerts and we have our opportunities. This is when somebody comes in the website and they've done something or have a behavior that you should be alerted to so you can follow up. So these will be important. I definitely wouldn't turn any of these off. In fact, I might turn some of these on. All right, next down is integrations. Integrations allows you to integrate multiple third-party applications into Lofty. Probably most prevalent or most important would be your email account and your personal calendar. Both of these applications are two-way syncs. That is, the email that you integrate with Lofty, if you send out an email from our CRM, it's going to post in your third-party mail application email box or sent email box. Same with the calendar. Let's say you're out on the road and you don't have your Lofty with you. You get a quick phone call, somebody wants to set an appointment the next morning, you put it on your personal calendar. That will be a two-way sync into Lofty and it'll show up on the Lofty calendar as well. The one thing that we do not sync up with the calendars are your tasks. We don't want to muck up your calendar, so it's only scheduled appointments. If I scroll down on this page, additional items that you can integrate into Lofty, there's some marketing programs like Calendly or Sly Broadcast for pre-recorded voice messaging, BombBomb Video, very popular. Our transactions page is very powerful and a very strong product. However, some people do like to use third-party applications for transactions. We do integrate with Brokerment, Dotloop, and SkySlope. Here you can find DocuSign. Some of these programs, although the third-party applications, you can actually purchase through our marketplace. We feel that strongly about them. Again, it is a third-party product. You are purchasing it through the third party, but you can do it in our marketplace. This DNC, the Contact Center, is a great program we just added. It helps you keep compliant with privacy issues. Zapier is middleware. It's designed to allow multiple applications to share the same information. There may be some specialized program that you can only attach to Lofty through Zapier. And again, this is a third-party subscription. As I move down, again, some pretty common products. As we become more popular, more and more people want to integrate with us and connect with us. From time to time, either in lead capture or here in integrations, when you're setting up a third-party application to Lofty, they may request an API key. Your API key, again, will be at the bottom of your integrations page. And again, easy to find, easy to copy. All right, let's click into My Organization. We have My Organization here. You might be able to see your whole team here. The reason my organization is here is that if you have a lender that you want to work with and have a great relationship with them, you can set them up and share your leads with that lender. Our lender program is pretty interesting. There are a lot of tools inside the Lofty CRM that allow you to qualify your leads to see first if they're working with a lender, and second, are they pre-qualified for a mortgage loan? If those questions are no, then obviously those are the leads you want to share with the lender. For me to add a lender to my program or to my team, I do not have to purchase a seat. In fact, we don't want you to. Simply click here, choose the lender that you want, insert their email address and their name. Now on this cost sharing program, I don't know if you'll have this access or not. If you do, I'm going to actually offset talking about this for the time being. Let's just assume you're not going to have it. The first option, share with others. If you have others on your team that you want to show that lender with, simply click here to do that as well. Once your lender gets this invite, he will be set up on your team. And again, in the CRM, in the profile pages, you can actually share that lead with your lender. And again, this might be a good place for me just to stop and see if there's additional questions.
Hey, Jason, not currently, just answering some within the chat in regards to just being able to see the presentation better, and then just some general questions around features, things that are included for these EXP agents. So,
all right, let's keep moving.
Yeah, this is great. Appreciate it.
All right. One last thing is goals. This is relatively new. Goals used to be only set up by a company owner. You can set up personal goals now. When I click on goals here, I can either set up goals for the remainder of 2025, or I can start collecting my thoughts for what I want to do in 2026. Our goals are beyond financial goals. You can set up task goals as well. You can set up a number of communications you may want to do on a weekly, daily, monthly basis. The goals are pretty flexible, so that if you have seasonality to your business, maybe you're not selling as many homes in December as you are in June, you can tweak it on a month-to-month basis as well to set up a more realistic goal on a month-to-month level. All right, let's move on. We are going to drop into communication. I'm going to cover call and text. Call and text, I'm not as familiar with the EXP program, so I'm going to make some assumptions here. That a company number is, you do have a company number that you can set up. And this will allow you to use that company number as a virtual dialer, X amount of minutes on a monthly basis, and it can be used as a texting phone number as well. And for a texting phone number, you'll want to set up this. You have your do not contact settings here as well for privacy issues. You don't want to contact people that do not want to be contacted. The 10 DLC compliance, if you do have a company number, all texting phone numbers need to be registered on a national registration board. I'm not going to go through this whole form, but let me just show you some things real quickly. You must choose if you either do this by sole proprietor. If you do not have an EIN number, that's what you choose. If you have an EIN number for your business, I strongly recommend using the EIN number for this. And we'll follow this track down here. There will be a disclaimer here. Again, this is a third party. This is not Lofty making go through this process, although Lofty is coordinating you filling out this form. When you hit continue, I would say the low-level plan, which allows you 6,000 texts on a daily basis, would be more than enough. When I hit continue here on the EIN number, I want to make sure I put the exact business name that my EIN number is assigned to. I'm going to fill out the country. I'm going to fill out my contact, my address for that EIN number. This website address is very important. Please do not make any changes to this. We default this to the website that they will be checking. Now, they're not checking your website or your domain. What they're really checking is the consent box that we have on this website. If you put a different URL in here, they're not going to see that, and they're going to decline or deny your request. So please leave this website address as it is. Once you fill that out again, or you get to this point, you're going to fill out your personal contact details in case somebody needs to reach back to you. When you hit continue, I won't be able to here because I don't have these. I don't think so. Yep. I don't have this information filled out. It will take you through. You'll have to offer 2 samples of your texting. You'll have to consent and agree that you are being honest and upfront, and these are all true. And you will pay a nominal fee. It's less than $25. That's for the branding campaign, and then there'll be an ongoing $1.50 charge for the campaign itself, the texting campaign. This is something relatively new. This is a little cumbersome. If you follow my directions, you should not have any problems. The process typically takes 3 to 4 business days to get verification and get this active. And again, this will be required for any texting that you do through the Lofty. On communication and email, what we have here is we have your signature block. Where we set up your signature block, we use what we call variables that will insert the information. So if I hit edit here, you can see what these variables look like. You can use these variables in emails that you create as well. I can change the format of this. I can increase or decrease the size of that picture. I can add another image. I can tear this whole block down and just create my own block if I choose to do so. Okay. Once you've made the changes, just go ahead and save them. At this time, I'm going to suggest that you do not apply the signature to all outgoing emails. There's some structure in email templates that we still need to work through, and I think you're best off not to do that. Additionally, on this page, we have our sending email platform. Now, the sending email is how we send out automatic emails on your behalf. We're not going to be able to open up that integrated email that you've added, where automatic emails may be property alerts. It may be that welcome email that we send when somebody joins your website or registers your website. It may be on automatic emails you set up on a drip campaign. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to use this sending email. We give you a temporary domain to use when you initially sign up with Lofty, but we want you to change this and move this to your own domain, your own brand. Something to keep in mind is that this can be set up as what we call an email subdomain. So it's not using MX records, it's not using an email server. That way, if you already have existing email from G Suites or from Outlook on that domain, it will not interfere with it. However, your name format will. That's why we set this up and we use a very unique name format with that underscore. I would not change that if I were you. Okay. Again, I'm going to let me finish this page here. Email templates. This is where you can set up personal email templates. Where you can create folders so you can categorize these. If I click into this folder, and I click add template, we have 2 different levels or 2 different versions of emails you can create. The drag and drop. I like this. This is something relatively new with us. I'm old enough to remember this as object-oriented programming, but what I can do is I can grab an image here and drop it up at the top and use it as a banner. Maybe I want to put a divider in here to make it look nice. Obviously, I have to put my communication in or tell my story, so I'm going to drop a text box in. Maybe I need to back up that information. I can drop in a table or a listing or a video to enhance the story that I'm telling. I can even drop in a button here as a follow-up button or a link, taking them to a link, taking them to another URL where I can present more information or capture more information from them. So this tool is great for newsletters or marketing type materials that you're sending out and creating email templates for. Let's go back and let's look at the other level, the other way to do this. Classic email editor. When I click into this, First thing I'm going to do is name the email template itself. I suggest putting a very long descriptive name in here so at glance you know exactly what it's used for. Same with the other version. You also want to put a date on your email templates, month and year at least. That way at glance you know how old it is. A few years from now you'll thank me for doing that. You'll see your old, tired email templates. You might have to update them, review them, or maybe remove them. You'll put your subject line in that the client will see. You'll decide what template or what folder it's going to go into. And then you have this full block here for your tool sets. You have full control over font, numbered points, bullet points. You can justify left, right, or center, whether that's a sentence, a paragraph, or maybe an object you threw in there, like a video or an image. You can add links, you can add attachments. You have separators to highlight, again, certain entries into the communication. We even put an HTML button in here, so if you want to code something in there, you can. Videos, as I said, emojis, and you can even add listings. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I want to explain variables here. Remember, this is an email template. So by logic, that means this is something that you're going to create once and use many times. It's a common communication that you send out. Obviously, you're going to start off with a salutation, and you want to use their name. So I'm going to come to variables, and for leads, oops, I did that a little quickly. I'm going to click into leads, and I'm going to use first name. So it'll insert Linda or Stephen or whatever the first name may be. I'll put my comma in there as well. You know what the communication is going to be. So let's scroll down. And at the bottom, obviously you want to put a signature in there as well. So you'll come to agent and you can insert your agent signature here. You'll want to go through these different variables and you see all the different opportunities you have. For instance, an agent, I can put a meeting link in. I can insert my website jump, all kinds of different things. Same with lead variables. I can put in things like phone, source, or maybe an inquiry of their purchase or selling price. So a lot of different leads. Our listing variables are based on behavior from the website that you can follow up on. So these are all strong tools that you can use. Not a bad idea to spend a day or two putting all your email templates together and getting them ready to use. And again, I'm going to just pause here to see if there's any questions. Nope. Okay, let's move on.
Oops. Sorry, real quick, Jason. Just one I think that maybe you could answer or help with here. It says, it's from Roxy. She says, does Lofty offer a presentation section for CMAs and listing presentations?
Yes, we do. It's that's a little more advanced, but while we have that question, I can come back here. If I go to my people's page, and I may not have any listings in here, let's see. To send a CMA, and you can send out as many CMAs as you want. I would come into my engagement page, and because I don't have a true MLS set up here, your CMAs are down here. You can send out as many of those as you want. Now, we are going to decide how that information is gathered and the format of that CMA. If you go to the marketplace, you can purchase an upgraded version of your CMA where you can set up the format and you can add some additional data, I believe, as well. So if you're very strong on CMAs and it's important for you to control that format, you'll want to upgrade that, or you can just use our format and send out unlimited amount of CMAs on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Okay.
Thank you, Jason.
On Lofty AI, I'm going to kind of just give you an overview of this. We have a very big focus on AI. We actually have 3 programs that you can add to your CRM to assist you. I'm going to go into some detail on the assistant and just some limited detail on the other 2. The AI Copilot effectively is adding a right-hand man to help you run your Lofty product. It's going to help you organize your leads, communicate with your leads, give you some suggested reach outs and ways that you and approaches you can do with your leads. It's also going to help you organize your tasks and processes and things you do within Lofty. There's a very minimal monthly price on this. Again, if there's something you're interested in, please go to the marketplace. You can find it there. We do have a 30-day trial on this that you can run it at no charge, which I suggest you do, but please don't run any free trials until you're entirely set up and using the product for at least a week or so you get full run of that 30 days. The AI Marketer is a AI tool for the marketing page. If you click in the marketing page, you'll find all kinds of different programs. This is not part of my presentation, but I just want you to be aware there's all kinds of different tools for creating your brand and getting listings out in social media. And the AI Marketer is an AI tool that will help you organize and put your best foot forward. And again, you can, I do believe we have a 30-day trial on this one as well. And again, you can find more information in the marketplace on that. The AI Assistant, I'm going to assume that this is an add-on product for this group. And in the AI Assistant, what the AI Assistant does is several things. The initial thing it does is that it will engage your customers that come to your website that are not registered. It's going to chat them up and try to get them to register on your website. And it'll have a chat box, and you can set some of the tone and the ways that it approaches customers. The second thing the AI Assistant does is that you can assign a texting phone number to it, and it will reach out to your general audience, new leads, nurturing leads, cold leads. It'll start engaging with them through texting, start qualifying them, getting some answers, and it's by design trying to get those leads up to a level where you can take over maybe a warm or a hot lead, and you can take over from there. It's a great program. I know that we do have a 30-day trial on this as well. And again, my suggestion is if you're going to use the 30-day trial, wait till you're using the product for a week or so you get full access out of it.
Hey, Jason,
Right.
just real quick, I appreciate you sharing on that. I dropped a PDF in the chat where some of the questions are coming in, but just to kind of dovetail off of what you're saying about the AI Copilot, AI Marketer, and AI Sales Assistant with EXP CRM of Choice, they would actually have all three of those included. And the AI Sales Assistant is something that just kind of inherited from the corporate account before
Great.
getting this all set up. So just wanted to mention that, but I do appreciate you touching on it.
In that case, on the AI Sales Assistant, let me just go a little bit further. What you want to do is you want to set your settings here. And that is, you want to give it a name. We default the name to Anna. If you do not change this name and just start running it on the chat box, it will insert your picture and have the name Anna. If that were me, I don't look like an Anna, so you might want to either change the name Anna or upload a different image here on the AI Assistant. And in these calls, this is where you can set up some of the intelligence and work with the product itself. All right, let's move on. We're going to drop down into lead capture. In lead capture, you can set up certain subscriptions to work with Lofty. So if you have a subscription to Zillow or Realtor.com, you can bring your leads in automatically. Please review these opt-ins. You may want to turn some of these on. If you're running Facebook ads, you can go ahead and have those leads come into Lofty directly instead of being posted on Facebook. And then at the top of this page, this button here is a pretty important button. It's the lead capture. We have an intelligence built into our CRM that any source of a lead that you have tied with that email that you have integrated with us, integrations, we automatically pick up those sources. If I click into lead capture, I have 41 pages and about 20 or 25 25 sources on each of these pages. It gives me about 800 to 1,000 different sources we can connect and automatically bring in sources into the Lofty CRM. So from time to time in your CRM, all of a sudden you're going to get a lead and you're not sure where it came from. You can look up the source of the lead, come back here, and if you need to, again, add some of these items like setting up automatic consent or sending out a welcome email for that source for future leads that come in, you can go ahead and set that up. In lead routing, I'm just going to touch base that you can create rules for automatic distribution of leads. Any way you can think of divvying up your leads, you can do it. You can do it by type of lead, price point. So if you have if you want to take, if you have somebody in your team that works with only $1 million plus listings, you can go ahead and set up a category for that. You can do it by the source that they come from. Any way you can think of divvying up your leads, perfect. Probably most common though is people just come down to the round robin, and you can do a round robin so your leads are evenly distributed across your entire team. There are some tweaks you can add to that I won't go into. You just add your agents here. There are other levels of the round robin. Next up is basically round robin with a twist, and that is you can set a time frame for that first assignment. When somebody gets it, they must contact the lead. If they don't, it'll move on to the next person. So that kind of ensures that your team is going to reach out as soon as possible. And then last but not least, we also have blast alert. If you choose blast alert, that means everybody that is added to that or assigned to your team will get an alert at the same time. Whoever gets the contact first owns the lead. So lead distribution would be very helpful to you if you have a team and want to distribute your leads automatically. Tags can be added so that you can do filtering in your CRM a little bit easier. Lead import. I do want to spend a few minutes on lead import. I think this is a very important process. And this is probably the last thing I'm going to cover today, and I'll be glad to take any additional questions you have. But you want to get your lead imports as soon as possible. You don't want to wait. You don't want to coordinate that or wait till everything's done. We strongly recommend bring your imports in as soon as possible. It's relatively easy. I'm going to hit upload file here. I'm going to go to my source, and I'm going to choose my file. So this is a file that a CSV file from my previous CRM, and our import product has an intelligence to it. It's going to read your column and your field names, and we're going to match it up with our field names. And if they match up perfect, or we again have some intelligence, we can kind of, if you say first email, we'll know that's email, so on and so forth. Maybe these names will be slightly different, but we'll find the match and we'll go ahead and match it up. If you get a green mark, that means you're good to go. Now, in some instances, maybe in your former CRM, we're using the same field, but you called it something completely different. For instance, maybe your former CRM called your lender the mortgage team. So what I can do if it doesn't match up is I can hit my edit button, and I can go and look and see if there's an unused field that I can match that up to. Language wouldn't make sense, or agent wouldn't make sense, but lender sure does. So I can choose lender, and I get that matchup. Now, maybe there's a custom field in your former CRM. Let's say that you found it really advantageous to track your client's dog's name, because you could bring it up in conversation and made them feel really at ease and kind of made that connection a little bit tighter. So maybe this isn't something we would obviously know. So again, I can hit the edit button, and if I know I'm not going to find that, or if I can't find it, I can come down and I can create my own custom field for it. Now, I've kind of already done that. Let's see if I can think of another way to do this. Maybe, let's say you decide to change that to cat's name, because you found all your clients own cats instead of dogs. And when I hit confirm, it creates that, that field. And now I can choose that field I just created, and it's going to go ahead and match it up. Now, the last few fields that may not match up seem like they might, like here's a property type and a street address. Why aren't these matching up, Jason? Well, the reason is that in our fields, it could fall in either to a buyer or a seller. We're just not sure which one is. You're the one importing this. You're the one that have used these before. You'd have a pretty good idea of that. And so if you're going to pull them up, you would decide if that's buyer or seller, and you can match those up. A few best practices about importing leads. My suggestion is clean up your CSV file before you go through this process. You're going to find there's a ton of fields and information that you set up that you're no longer going to use. I can't tell you how many import files I've seen that have pager number or fax number, or they have an extension, they have a field for the extension for the home phone. Those aren't fields you need to pull in. You don't, you know, if you're no longer going to need it or use it, you just don't match it up with anything, it will just ignore it. So for instance, if these were fields like that and I just hit next, it's going to remind me I still haven't matched up all the columns, but I know that I just don't want to pull those in. When I hit yes, you're going to get to this page. You'll have to decide if your leads will be personal or company. I always suggest creating a unique segment. A segment is just another way of organizing your leads. It's like a tag. But what I would suggest is creating a new segment, and when you click new, name it from the source your leads came in from and the date that you brought them into the CRM. If you're doing your import for other people, your agents will be listed here if you're doing it for other people. If you don't have a lender, just leave this blank. I suggest any invalid or empty lead type should default to the buyer, but you can choose other things. I also suggest for duplicate leads, you should skip the lead. And the reason for that is, from my logic, you might have two John Smiths, completely different people, and somehow that lead got merged. Additionally, in the skip leads, whatever we skip, you'll be able to download those leads in a file, a CSV file, review them and see if you need to add them or not add them. For permission to contact, I suggest going ahead and opting in both for call and text. And then last but not least, on this setting, number consent, I suggest using recorded consent. If you are tracking that in your former CRM, we'll pick that up and bring that along as well. Last but not least, you'll just agree, and then you'll do your import. All right, that is my presentation. I am glad to answer any questions that you may have.
That was great, Jason. I appreciate all the detail. That was really, really good. Yeah, a few more questions rolled in just in the last little bit. One question that I wanted to ask is, can the AI handle Spanish conversation?
No, it's English only. We are looking into that. It's been brought up several times, but at this time, the AI system is strictly English. It will not understand other languages.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, great question. I think in just some of the meetings I've been in, we're as a product looking at potentially adding like Spanish and French, I think down the road, some of that capability just for our clients and in those areas where it's needed. So I appreciate it. Let me see here. I think some other rolled in somebody. Okay, sorry. Let me jump over to a different section. Any tips on how to download contacts from Bold Trail so it's seamless importing to Lofty? Want to understand why I should choose this platform over Bold Trail or Close. Gotcha.
Gosh, that's I'm not familiar with Bold Trailer, so I'm not sure in reference to seamless. But if you have a description or some additional information for me.
Yeah, Bold Trail's a new name of KV Core. I think she's just wondering if there's any tips on exporting or bringing those contacts into Lofty from.
I actually do have a tip. Let's go back to lead import. And we have these filters here, and we actually have a filter for KV Core. So if you're coming from KV Core, this will help you set up that those fields a lot better. It'll have a little more intelligence to it. It'll be a little bit easier. So this will make it a lot easier if you're coming from these other sources.
Perfect.
And that's before I hit my upload file.
Awesome. Thanks for showing that, Jason. One question that just rolled in from Pow. Does this CRM have the ability to boost our marketing?
Yeah, like I said, and I'm not going to cover it in this session, but we have a whole marketing page here. In our marketing page, you can set up lead generation programs through our internal DMA team. You can set up your own programs like a zip code blast or a Lofty Bloom. A Lofty Bloom effectively is a combination of zip code blast and I think local service ad blast as well. Here you can insert landing pages. You can create landing pages. Our social studio allows you to schedule out posts to your social medias where you can do it days or weeks in advance. If I click create a post, I don't know if it'll pull up anything because I have no listings in here, but I can create a video post or a multiple image post. I even have my AI marketer going to work with me on this. We put that in from time to time to help and assist people and give them a taste of what the AI marketer is. So there are all kinds of different programs that we have inside Lofty to increase your marketing. We have an internal print house where you can create postcards and send out postcards, open house forms. This basically only works on a tablet. If you have an open house and you have a tablet, you can set this up where you're collecting information from people that come in and view the open house and getting them to the CRM right away. So a ton of programs here. Additional programs would be, where did it go? Did they take it out? Oh, it's not in here because I don't have an MLS, but we have automatic property alerts in here as well that you can set up for additional branding.
Perfect. Thanks for touching on it, Jason. Just so people know who are still, listening in and attending the training, we will get into more like smart plan related things. I know Jason just touched on that in the marketing tab. We'll be covering different topics, in the upcoming trainings ahead on Mondays and Wednesdays with the EXP agents. One of the questions that actually came in, I think, from the YouTube side was seeing an example of this is just to address that we will be doing further topics in the upcoming sessions. Someone's asking about seeing an example of a customer-facing website. We actually are going to be getting into websites again. We touched on it about 2 weeks ago. We'll be getting into it again next Wednesday. So as far as the question there, we'll dive into that deeper. We'll show some examples and things if you want to make sure you attend next Wednesday, the 23rd. So one question as well, Jason, when we text from Lofty, what phone number shows up on recipient's end? And just before maybe stepping on that, they do have a virtual number included with their Lofty account as a new agent on the platform. So
yeah, so the virtual number that you're using is what will show up. Let's go into call and text here. And I cannot set up my virtual number. I do apologize. But it is the virtual number. And again, I don't have, at least on this product, see, if I click text, because I have nothing here, it's not going to show up. But when I hit text inside the profile and it sends out that text, it is going to come from that number. But I can put my signature and my own content in there, so people know that it's me. People are a little bit squeamish about that, and I always like to relate this story. Personally, I buy more product at Best Buy than anybody should be allowed to. I do a lot of photography. I buy all my cameras there because I can put them on special financing and not worry about it. So Best Buy loves me, and they are always enticing me to buy more and more and more. And they do that often through texting messages. Now, I know that when I get a text message, it's not my local store's texting phone number. It's a national number. In this day and age, everybody knows that texting is used. There may be multiple numbers people use for their businesses. I don't think it's a issue using that company number and that company number showing up. Because it's your company number, you can actually use it as a virtual dialer. You could set it up as a second number on your business cards and all your other marketing material so that people are familiar with it. So that would be my response.
No, that's great. I appreciate it, Jason. Probably just another question or two here, and we can wrap up. This might have been in correlation to the question asked earlier around importing leads from KV Core and that little option we have in the drop down there. Someone was asking, Steven said, are you set up to also, it says, are you set up to also for market Keter import, maybe market leader import? I don't know if that's another platform. He's wondering if maybe we have as like a tool to bring those into Lofty, but.
No, but again, we have that intelligence built in for all CSV files. Specifically for other CRMs, it would be KV Core, which is now something else, Boomtown and Sync. And that's because we do these so often, we kind of found their what the key fields were that were throwing people off, and so we kind of overrode those. If it's not as popular, it's probably not going to show up here. And it just may be my lack of knowledge. Maybe that is a very popular CRM. I don't want to imply anything. But if it's not here, that means we probably didn't have issues with previous imports on it as well. So it's probably going to be pretty clean when you do it. Did I explain that right?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I think the last question here is, how can we target a specific zip code to promote a new listing or open house?
Yeah, and I just showed that to you. Something else I just want to cover while we're here in imports, it just kind of occurred to me. If you do your import will show in the history here. There in the status, it'll show you how many were skipped, so you can again download that file. It will also have a reverse button. So if for whatever reason you did not get a field or two correct, you can reverse it here, kind of like doing overs, make those changes, and then pull it back in again. You don't want to go and delete the leads from the actual CRM because there's still remnants of it in that. Let's go back for that last question to the marketing page. And we have zip code blasts right here. One thing to keep in mind in the zip code blasts is that when we perform these, we limit these by zip code. We don't want to oversaturate any market. So there are only so many that we'll do on a weekly schedule. If it's a very popular zip code, you may have to get in line to do it. Again, because we want it to be effective and again, not oversaturate. But it's a very easy program. Here, when you click in here, you can decide how many weeks you want to run. You choose the zip code, you set this whole program up, and you can do it right here from your platform or your CRM platform.
That's great, Jason. The last question I wanted to address, and I'll just make sure I drop this in the chat for people. I've dropped it in a few times throughout the training today. Some people are asking just features within their Lofty account that are included versus paying extra for. And we have like a nice flyer that I'll drop in PDF for you guys to review. Do appreciate the assistance from the XP side on some of the questions that are coming in. I'll make sure to drop that into the XP chat and pass it over on the YouTube side as needed. But do appreciate you, Jason. Again, you went through a very detailed and thorough process of the Kickstart, the CRM dashboard basics. So do appreciate you. EXP agents, thanks so much for joining us. Like I said, we'll have some more topics in the next trainings we have. Monday will be more of just a why choose Lofty. Next Wednesday will be more around websites and details around all questions. I know there's been quite a few in the last few weeks around EXP agents and the website capability within Lofty. So we'll be diving into that deeper next Wednesday. And these are set for 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, thanks again, Jason. Really appreciate your expertise and you joining us today.